on somebody else. No. But they all see is you need help. Oh, but still you try so hard to cover up your games. You try so hard, hoping that one day something gon' change. You waste all of your time covering up your tracks. Spend all your days running away. Now you gotta watch your back, and that's the facts. You spend so much of your life scheming and trying to get over. Got you wondering why you come around. All you get is cold shoulder. Yeah, you try so hard to cover up your games. You try so hard, hoping that one day something gon' change. You try so hard. Yeah. You try so hard. You try so hard. Yeah. You try so hard. Give me, Can't run away, man.
Hey everyone, Charles Andrew Hilton here. And if you couldn't notice, I'm just a little tiny bit behind this week. So I'm actually putting together these beer tastings while we shoot the promo. Aaron is, as you might expect, less than thrilled about it. So what do we got coming up this week? Well, something really near and dear to my heart. we have AleSmith Brewing. Now these folks are out of San Diego, California. AleSmith is one of those foundational breweries that just makes the West Coast for me. Are they getting a little bit passed by some of the breweries here in Alberta like Blind Man or Snake Lake or Cabin or Establishment? Sure, a little bit. I won't argue that for a second. But they're still really important, and they're important to me. This is a tasting of love. I have loved AleSmith since the very first time I tasted them, back when I was still a big rate beer rater. Their barrel-aged Speedway Stout was one of like 3 things I ever gave a perfect 5 out of 5. I love this brewery. And just like Omnipolo, annoyingly, they only have 3 things in cans, so we have to kind of shabbily tack on a 4th beer, but I think I picked a winner here. This is by Two Crows, and speaking of labor of love, it's a Riesling lager. This is called Vitis. So yeah, we're gonna have 3 hoppy beers from AleSmith. We're gonna have their Cloudstream Hazy IPA, their classic AleSmith IPA West Coast, their Hazy 396, 394, which is their Hazy Pale, and just a really fun lineup of beers I really care about. So this is a big personal one for me. I hope you'll join us July 21st, 6 o'clock. Thanks for watching.
Media Boutique.
We're good? We're good? We're sure?
We're good.
We're just starting right over from scratch?
Check. Please do.
Well, welcome to Hell Day. This has not been our best day here at the store. Yeah, just it is a day where absolutely everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. So I could really use a beer. How about you?
Yeah.
Let's just jump right into it. We're going to taste beers from 2 breweries. We're going to taste something with 2 grows, but we're also going to talk about AleSmith a little bit. We'll get to AleSmith when I get to it, but I don't want to bury the 2 Crows here because the 2 Crows is a really cool idea. This is a Canadian lager blended with Riesling Piquette. Piquette is a type of naturally occurring sparkling wine, but that's done very, very small. So they're just deliberately very light wines. I've seen Piquettes down in the 3, 4, 5% range before. Now this is a Riesling Piquette with 2 Nova Scotia wineries, which I really should have written down because I don't remember what they're called. But anyway, it's dry Riesling mixed with a very light, clean drinking lager. I picked this just because I wanted to have something, 1, that was Riesling, because I'm a sucker for Riesling, but 2, I wanted to have something that would just be nice for the absolutely massive heat wave that we were having when we actually put together the promo for this. You know, I was actually standing here and it was so hot outside, I said it's actually too hot for IPA. We can't just do IPA. We have to do something lighter. So we chose Vitis Lager here. Let's dig into this a little bit. Well, the Riesling sure shows up, doesn't it? Green apple, peaches, a little bit of greasy oil, a little bit of grass. And then right underneath that, I think it brings up the crispy character of like a good lager. Alcohol is actually really in line here, like what's 4.6? Yeah, 4.6. Which considering you're starting out with a lager and then you're blending in wine, and it still ends up like half a point higher than Bud Light. Not sure exactly how they're doing that. And there's almost nothing about this beer on Two Crows website or really anywhere else. I think the best thing about it was a tweet referencing a CTV article with video I couldn't access about beer wine hybrids. So we're just going to kind of dig into this on our own. Okay, on the mouth. I hope that's what a a Federweiser from Germany would taste like a very light, sparkling, low alcohol Riesling based drink that's just lightly refreshing, crisp, clean. Oh, I'm right on board for this. I mean, the Riesling shows through like crazy, that nice malty underpinning underneath, not really any hop characteristic, but there's also none of that macro brewed taint. I will say I've been, like I think a lot of you know, I've been getting more into lagers lately. Yesterday I had the new potato lager, This Spuds for You, by Establishment, which I think will show up on a beer tasting here in the next couple of weeks for us. This to me is just a little more interesting than that. It's got a little more life, it's got a little more freshness, it's got the fruit from the Riesling. I don't know, I really like Two Crows. I think if we lived in Nova Scotia, I think they'd be kind of our cabin or 88 for out there, and we don't see anywhere near all that they do. I wish we saw more from them, but I don't know. When I think, you know, beer blended with wine, I usually think Burdock out of Toronto, but this has got that same character coming right through. Now, part of my memory is saying that we did a beer-wine hybrid in Alberta not that long ago, and I'm not talking about the Alberta Rita. That's got meat in it. It's a braggot. I want to say that Cabin did something like a beer-wine hybrid. I mean, there's Tiffany that's made on the red wine must, but I'm trying to think what else there might be. I swear there was something that was like a beer-wine hybrid. Yeah, it was their sparkling ale had white wine. It had Sauvignon Blanc in it from City and Country Winery. Yeah, it wasn't very good. It was actually pretty bad. I think it's the worst beer I've ever had from Cabin. But they did try it, and props to them for at least trying. This, however, I could drink all day. I quite like this. What do you think of this, Aaron?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Yeah, it's crisp and refreshing, and it does everything it says it, good. Nice.
You know, if you'd given me this in a 6-pack and you hadn't told me about the Riesling, I'd probably just think this was a really nice lager.
Right.
Like with a little more fruit characteristic. Maybe be like, oh, is this like a green melon lager?
Oh, yeah.
But as it is, no.
It's pretty good.
I think it's more beer than it is wine. Like,
yeah.
The wine's certainly there, but more than anything, it just drinks like a really nice lager. And I'm totally here for that.
Nice. I dig it.
There's also something in here that reminds me of like either dried pineapple or dried ginger, or almost something like Haribo candies, like those, the nice gummy candies, not the knockoff gas station brand ones or the grocery store brands, like the actual nice German gummy worms and cola bottles and all that sort of thing. It reminds me a little bit of like gummy candy in the oddest way. Or dried apple rings too. There's a lot of nice dried fruit, dried spice in this that I'm really grooving on. Yeah, I think that's kind of neat.
Crows.
Yeah, good work, Two Crows.
Nice way to start it.
Nice way to start it, and a hell of a lot better than their Negroni beer, because that was gross. I really wanted to like that beer. I wanted to like that beer so much, and I just hated it so much.
Well, I don't know.
Well, howdy, John. How are you tonight? Let's move on to AleSmith. AleSmith is, at least in terms of Alberta, an absolutely ancient brewery, founded in 1995. AleSmith IPA was actually one of their very first beers, and it's having its 25th anniversary this year. But of course, nobody drinks West Coast anymore, except me, and people who watch this channel. So this is an old school West Coast brewery, which have been absolute rate beer darlings. They've won Best Brewery in the World 4 or 5 times on rate beer. They've had, numerous of their beers in the rate beer top 100 or top 50. The AleSmith IPA, I think, is still in the top 50 IPAs in the world. They've been making very good beer, and they're very, very much a reference brewery. Maybe not in Canada because they just got here, but certainly in the Western United States. And I even make an argument that coast to coast, AleSmith is just one of those brands that is known for their beer, and it almost doesn't matter the style. I don't know if I've ever had a sour from them, but their Old Numbskull Barley Wine, their Scottish Heavy, which is creatively named Scottish Heavy, or probably Wee Heavy, their Speedway Stout and barrel-aged versions of all their big beers, and then their IPAs, they're a fantastic brewer for those styles. Then we're going to taste 2 East Coast style IPAs or pale ales, and then 1 West Coast. The Hazy 394 is the newest of them. This was done as a tribute to Tony Gwynn's family. Of course, AleSmith, based in San Diego. Tony Gwynn known as Mr. Padre. So this is done as a very early New England pale ale done by a West Coast brewer. So this first came out, was being developed right around the time Tony Gwynn died in 2014. Hit the market either very late 2014 or early 2015. And that's early days for Hazy IPA. I mean, Blind Man's New England Pale didn't come out till, what, 2017, I want to say? So, also, Aaron's just jumping completely out of order and diving into the IPA. Love it.
Which one are we on?
We're on. We go left to
sorry.
right. Yeah.
You're doing it.
I'm doing it in backwards order because it's
Vegas
Hell
style,
Day. Yeah, I know. I know. It's Hell Day. Welcome to Hell Day. Oh, well.
Sorry, everybody.
So what do you get out of this one, Aaron?
Nice.
So, East Coast style, obviously done hazy. Let's see what we get out of this. A lot of like cooked fruit. Like Minute Maid concentrated orange juice, cooked mangoes, or like almost candied mangoes, fake mango. I am working in reverse. I'm sorry. I'm literally on my last brain cell. I'm so tired. I'm doing these left to right for me because I'm not functioning anymore, and I'm so sorry, everybody. Yes, apparently I was doing them in the reverse order. I think that's the first time I've ever actually done that.
Right order, just
Yeah.
It appeared odd.
Yep, I was working in reverse direction. This is the correct order now as you see them. Today's just not my day, Aaron.
That's okay. You're doing great.
Okay. So, cooked orange, cooked mango, kind of like marmalade or chutney for me. Like the fruit is so cooked on this. And I don't think it's because the beer is stale. Do you have an expiration on these cans? I hope we do. I mean, there's an IPA. Bloody better have one. Oh, it's hopelessly smeared beyond all recognition or readability. So if someone else has a can whose expiration date isn't completely screwed up or brewed on date isn't completely screwed up, please let me know. But no, it doesn't taste old. It just tastes very... It kind of tastes like an old school West Coast brewery learning to brew East Coast style beers, which I didn't expect. I usually think AleSmith's pretty on top of things. This kind of feels like, oh, we know IPA inside out. We practically invented it. This East Coast stuff, we can do this. I don't know. I'm not super impressed with this, and considering it's AleSmith, I'm a little sad about that. I don't know how I feel about this. Disappointed, I think, overall. You know what? If that showed up in Alberta, yours was canned April 21st. Oh, it's 90 days old. That's towards the end of its life. That's not completely out of the realm of possibility considering it only got here 2 weeks ago. That's the other problem with IPAs from outside of Alberta. They take some time to get here. I don't think that I don't have a problem having this on the shelf. Yeah, I don't know if it tastes old. I just think it doesn't taste right. Because I had this when it first showed up a few weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, and it was fine. But again, I kind of felt the same way feel about it now. Like, eh. But yeah, I could also see, if you wanted to make a case that this has got some oxidation, I wouldn't call that crazy. Which sucks, is this launched 2 weeks ago. Like, we put this in the beer tasting kit the week it arrived. Yeah. Yeah, this is just not right.
Bummer.
All right, AleSmith, screw you. I'm not finishing. Aaron, would you get me like a bucket of some description? I'm not finishing that.
Well, I will.
You'll finish that.
Oh yeah. I haven't even tasted it yet.
No, I mean my glass.
Oh, your glass. Oh, sorry, of course. Spit bucket.
That'll do. Yeah, I'm not finishing that. That is really disappointing and sad. I mean, I don't feel bad because we got it out literally as soon as we could, but man, if I was Tony Gwynn and that was my like tribute to my lifetime, I'd be mildly upset. What's the date on this? Hey, this one works.
What does the 394 stand for?
Oh wow, that was actually canned.
Oh, baseball thing, right?
Yeah.
It was a baseball thing.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a little off topic, but yeah, 394 was his career hitting percentage, and which apparently is very good. I don't really follow baseball. Right. I had to do more research about who Tony Gwynn was than on any of the breweries or the beers. Okay, this smells better. The Cloud Stream genuinely smells better.
Oh,
I'd give it a skip. No, I'm just diving right in. That's a bigger pour than even I took. That's better. I still don't know if I'm super in love with this, and I don't know if it's old or if it's just AleSmith doesn't get hazy IPAs. I guess the proof will be in the pudding when we get to the West Coast. If this isn't right, then it's just the old right across the board, which is so unfortunate. We just got these.
What's the disappointing one? First one. Can I try? First.
Just for you, Nigel, you can have the whole can. All for you, buddy. You know, malty's okay. Malty's fine. This is an older brewery. They should be a little bit maltier. But do you get like oxidative and stale? Yeah, it's just not right at all.
Super obvious.
Yeah, and
okay then.
yeah.
It smells like sherry almost.
You think it smells sherried? You think it's that old?
Well, not quite that old, but got like a little tinge of it. It's not like full on.
Cloud Stream.
Man, I'm gonna have words for the agent. Because let's be fair, we just got this.
Barely.
Yeah, and we bought a lot of it. So, well, coming to a sale rack near you. The Cloud Stream at least is better. I won't say the Cloud Stream is right spot on. I will say if this was brewed in Alberta, I'm not sure I'd put it on the shelves. I'm not super in love with the Cloud Stream.
Yeah, I had just the basic IPA, and I was a little underwhelmed as well.
Yeah. And here I was all excited for AleSmith. Like, this is one of my favorite breweries, and we just got it, and now it's... You know, this is really just the way this entire damn day has gone.
Theme for today.
This has just been the theme for today. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. I had this big presentation about the history of AleSmith and everything.
still do
I mean, I
that.
could, well, it's kind of ruined now if the beer's not right.
It's a little
It's a bit,
kind of bad.
yeah, it's kind of bad. Yeah. I'm really crushed. I'm gutted about that because I love AleSmith.
Loved.
No, I still love them.
do?
I don't love the importer. There's nothing wrong with AleSmith. This is the fact that the importer either got cheap and didn't pay refrigerated shipping up from San Diego to here and it got cooked in a container,
I see.
or it's the case that they bought a little bit of stale stock out of BC thinking nobody would notice when it got here.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
That's good to know. I didn't even know that was.
there's lots of ways that beer can show up here and it's like, hey, look at our brand new exciting launch. And then we get it and it's like, oh, this is like old. Or I mean, look at Outcast Brewing. When they gave us all that beer, we picked it up right at the brewery. This was, I think, the very start of this year. We did that big Outcast feature. And we picked it up right from the brewery. The beer was like 4 months old. And we got it in Calgary at the brewery, which is why we no longer carry Outcast in the store and never, ever will again. Yeah. Let's talk about some of that, actually. That's kind of an interesting topic because, I mean, there's a couple of ways you can get around that. I mean, the problem is, of course, when you have something like an IPA, it's so temperature sensitive, it's so light sensitive. Cans kind of get rid of the light issue, but they didn't used to. I mean, you have to ship it in a refrigerated container from the brewery, basically to the store you're distributing to, or at least have, refrigerated or temperature-controlled stuff in between. If you can't control that, it's really, really hard. Craig, you think we're just spoiled with the fresh stuff? I'm not so sure. I'm really not. I think that this either got hot on the way between California and here, because I know for a fact, like I had a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale off our shelves last week, Thursday, I think, after work. And it was still fresh, it was clean, it was something like a June 10th brewed on date. Like that's fine. I don't know. This is one of those breweries that like taught me to love beer, and I don't even want to finish this Cloud Stream. Might be a real short show tonight. Could be. 5 years ago, okay, and I want to. Here's a question: would you have been impressed with this 5 years ago, before the Alberta craft beer explosion?
Like if it wasn't.
No, if it was just like no, it was just like this.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about like when we had 10, 12 different Lagunitas SKUs on the shelf at all times, and they sold well, but not like that well. Like if somebody's on the shelf for a month, I wasn't super worried about it. And then we had all the Rogue stuff, and then we had all the Stone stuff, and then we had all the stuff out of Montana for the like one summer where we had like 30% of the shelves were stuff from Montana, and then it never came back. And then we had the huge Vancouver scene that kind of moved in. We had all that Central City that came through, and we had 5 or 8 different Central City SKUs. I don't know if we've been so spoiled by freshness, or if we've just gotten pickier, or if maybe some of these older breweries, even my old favorite AleSmith, maybe have lost the plot a little bit. Because I will say, you know, it happens here. Like, I'm not going to say I have any 88 on my shelves that are from April, but for a while there, we had some Ring Pop that was probably a little older than I would have loved, because Ring Pop sold like absolute hotcakes, and then all of a sudden it just fell off a cliff. And it took me a little while to get through some of that AleSmith. I thought we had some AleSmith that was pushing 70 or 80 days old, or not AleSmith, a Ring Pop that was pushing 70, 80 days old at one point, and I did retaste those regularly, and they tasted fine. I don't think this is I mean, it's partially a freshness thing. That's without a question. I think this is badly shipped. I think this got too hot. I think this got shipped up from California, got cooked in the back of a truck. I think that has to be it.
That sucks. A bummer.
Yeah, or 10 years. I mean, 10 years, I think we would definitely be quite impressed with this, because this style was, you know, I don't even know if this style was invented 10 years ago. Although if it tasted like the Hazy 394, no one would have cared about Hazy IPA. Well, I don't really spoil you. I like the drive to Calgary. Not yesterday's, it was a really long day, but I generally like the drive to Calgary. And yeah, I did pick up some cool new stuff too. I mentioned this Spuds for You by Establishment, but we also have Transcontinental Pop, which I guess we could talk about since we're now 21 minutes in and we're done the third beer. Well, you know what, Aaron? We have a blooper reel for a reason.
Throwaways. I know the Two Crows was good.
Yeah, the Two Crows was good. All right, next week, beer tasting. We are doing all new stuff, and not California new stuff, because these are also very new. But we're going to be doing all new stuff from local breweries, including the new Establishment beer that we just got. So from Establishment, this is a collab that they did with Blood Brothers. This is called Transcontinental Pop. It is an Imperial Sour, I believe. Is it an Imperial Sour? Nope, it's a 5% sour with pineapple, orange, coconut, and vanilla. From Four Winds, Persic is a tart wheat with peaches, and it's done more as like a Flemish or red style sour, apparently. This is a returning one. This is Feelberry Crush by Snake Lake. Everybody likes Feelberry Crush. Absolutely adored that. Its SRM is purple. It's a fun sour, and whenever we get it, it's a huge seller. And then finally, this is a beer that I'm shocked we aren't sold out of yet, but we had an extra flat just sitting on top, and I actually was going to do the Establishment Annex separate together collab and do 2 different Establishment collabs, and then I saw we still had this, and I like this more than the separate together, so we're going to do Untold Glow. This is a Katharina Sour with passion fruit, orange, and guava. Absolutely delicious. Probably the most interesting sour on our shelves right now to me. Most interesting? I don't know about interesting, but just incredibly immediately delicious.
Probably best balance and best.
You think it's the best balanced, best brewed sour on the shelves? Yeah. And I don't know why it isn't sold out. Like, we bought 8 flats, but we didn't buy that much of it. Anyway, that is coming up next Wednesday. I promise nothing is going to be stale, or if it is, I'm really going to have some words with some people. In fact, I know it can't be because I drove basically all of this down from Calgary myself, so I know it's not sour because I didn't ever let it get that hot. Coming up on July 30th, we have Daryl from Lanigan and Edwards Wines joining us. We are going to do a little bit of summer wine tasting. 4 wines at $85 because I completely mispriced it. We are losing money on this damn thing, but we're going to do it anyway because I want to do it. From Bordeaux, Chateau Renan. Also from Bordeaux, Rosé de Chevalier. From Provence, Chateau de l'Escarel. So our white and rosés here. The Bordeaux's, the Rosé de Chevalier is from Pessac-Léognan. This is one of the most textural, challenging, interesting wines that I've ever had as a rosé. Certainly one of the most interesting rosés I've ever had from France. Just, there's so much going on here. The Chateau Renan 2015, this is a little bit of an older Sauvignon Blanc, which a lot of people won't have tasted before. Most people are like, yes, it's Sauvignon Blanc, so it's zippy and it rips and it's got tons of grapefruit and all the gooseberry and everything. This isn't that. This is waxy and honeyed and soft, and yes, there's some tangy citrus things that are more like lemon meringue pie things. And then finally, I really like Tuscan Red during the summer. I even like Sangiovese, sometimes a little bit chilled and almost drink it like a Beaujolais. So kind of like fun stuff there. So that's coming up next week at 85. All right, let's just finish Hell Day. Let's completely shit on the legacy of one of my favorite breweries of all time. Let's just destroy them for this market once and for all. All right, AleSmith IPA. Okay, now this is a West Coast IPA. I haven't smelled it, haven't tasted it yet. It is a West Coast IPA. It's supposed to hold up better than East Coast stuff. It should be fresher. Tasting, even in what's our brewed on date? Okay, you know what? 19th of May. That's like a month fresher. That's better. Moving in a positive direction. Megan, yes, we can sell, we can definitely save 4 beer tastings for you. All sours next week, your tongue says yes, but your stomach says no. Unlike this week, where your tongue said no, your stomach will be just fine. Speaking of just fine, that's just fine. You know what? It's old-fashioned. It's old school. This is the same recipe they've been brewing since 1995, 96. And you know what? I'll say it. That holds up just fine. I have no issues with that whatsoever, which is probably why Aaron, when I was super shit-talking to Hazy 394, when he was sitting here with the West Coast, he's like, no, it's fine. Like, that's not the same beer.
Yeah, I thought it was...
No, this is fine. Is it the most, nouveau style West Coast IPA? Do we have better ones in Alberta these days? Yes. But you know what? For something that came out when I was like 12 years old, that blows my mind at how good that still is. You taste that against, say, Red Racer IPA, which came out, I think, like 5 or 8 years later, and does not taste right at all. This still tastes fine. If this tastes fine now, imagine how many minds this blew when it came out in 1995. Craig, no problem on the wine tasting. Happy to do it. So, I'm not giving up on AleSmith. I'm definitely going to make some phone calls tomorrow and yell at some people about shipping times and treatment of product and a few other things. There's going to be some conversations had. The AleSmith may just disappear off our shelves because I'm going to see if they're going to buy it all back from me because screw them. I'm trying to be really positive when I'm actually absolutely fuming inside that the beer's this stale dated from one of my favorite breweries and it embarrassed itself. But you know what? It's fine. We had a fun time. We tasted some beers. 2 of the beers were good. 2 of the beers were this. No, let's not even say this. 2 of the beers were too old, badly treated in shipping, or AleSmith just straight up can't brew East Coast IPAs. I don't think it's the latter one. I think it's been badly treated in shipping. But there's also a reason why freshness matters. Even with craft beer, like especially with craft beer, freshness really matters. You've got to look after this stuff because, the reason that 88 won't sell to anyone who won't guarantee to keep their kegs cold in the fridge until delivery, there's a reason. When, Annex comes in and they're like, oh, you've had that seasonal for a long time. We'll just buy that back. There's a reason. Like, all of that stuff matters. This, I'm not going to say who the agent is on air, but they're going to get a phone call tomorrow. Well, I'm glad at least Craig and Sean didn't hate the AleSmith IPA, because I don't either. I think that's very, very well done. It finishes a little soapy, a little vegetal, but that's just the West Coast style. You know what? I still like that. I would still buy that. These, I think I'm taking off the shelf immediately. I'm not even going to discount them. If the agent won't buy them back, I'll eat the cost, and I just won't buy anything from that agent again. Because screw them. I'm just done with it. Yeah, so that is very literally the absolute fastest we've ever done a tasting. Yeah, you know what? I'm not even going to try and sell the others. They're just going in the bin. I'll see if the agent will cover the cost, and if so, we will continue working with them. And I will bring AleSmith back, assuming they keep working with AleSmith. I will bring AleSmith back, but I will be a lot fussier about making sure that freshness dates and quality of shipping and everything else is looked after, because I'm a bit embarrassed about tonight. I don't mind saying it. So I think we're going to finish there. I'm very, very sorry, everyone. I was so excited about one of my favorite breweries coming to Alberta. I jumped in with both feet because I've loved AleSmith for like 10, 15 years. It didn't show, and I'm really sorry for that. So, not to end on a downer, this Riesling lager kind of rules. That's okay, but yeah, not proud of that one. That one's going to be on the blooper reel.
Well, you know, sometimes you go fishing and you don't catch any fish.
Well, we caught this. We caught a much smaller fish than the fish we threw back. All right, shall we call her there?
Works for me, man.
Cool. Thanks, everyone. Sorry again. Yeah. Take care, guys.